The door creaked open like a confession I wasn't ready to hear, and there they were, Emily's fingers tangled in Lisa's hair, their lips pressed together in a hungry, desperate kiss that shattered the air in my apartment. The scent of Emily's vanilla perfume, the one I'd bought her for her birthday last year, mixed with Lisa's citrus shampoo, hitting me like a punch to the gut. My keys slipped from my hand, clattering against the hardwood floor with a sound that echoed my fracturing heart. They sprang apart, Emily's eyes wide with shock, Lisa's face flushing crimson as she stammered. "Jake! Oh God, Jake, it's not what it looks like." But it was. It was exactly what it looked like. Betrayal, raw and visceral, ripping through years of suppressed longing and blind trust. Fury boiled in my veins, hot and unyielding, but beneath it, a deeper wound festered. Humiliation, the kind that makes you question every moment you thought was real. I stood there, frozen in the doorway, the dim light from the hallway casting long shadows across the living room where we'd all laughed just weeks ago. Emily, my best friend since high school, the girl who'd called me her brother for over a decade, now entangled with my girlfriend of 6 months. The woman I'd introduced them to because Emily had insisted, her voice light and teasing over coffee. "Come on, Jake, I have to meet the girl who's finally stolen your heart. Make sure she's good enough for my big bro." Big bro. The words had always stung, but I'd swallowed them, convinced that friendship was better than nothing. Now, as I stared at them, the resentment I'd buried for years clawed its way to the surface, sharp and unforgiving. "Get out," I whispered, my voice barely audible over the pounding in my ears. Lisa scrambled for her coat, tears streaming down her face, mumbling apologies that sounded hollow. Emily didn't move at first, her green eyes, those eyes I'd dreamed about, locking onto mine with a mix of guilt and defiance. "Jake, please. Let me explain." Explain. What was there to explain? That after years of me being her shoulder to cry on, her confidant through breakups and heartaches, she decided to steal the one person who made me feel whole. I turned away, the room spinning, and slammed the door behind them as they left. Alone, I sank to the floor, the cool wood pressing against my palms, and let the heartbreak wash over me like a tidal wave. But even in that moment, a seed of something darker took root. Revenge. Not impulsive, not reckless, but calculated, cold, and inevitable. It started innocently enough, our story. High school sophomore year. Emily transferred in mid-semester, her family moving from Chicago after her dad's job relocation. She was all freckles and wild auburn hair, with a laugh that cut through the cafeteria noise like sunlight. I was the awkward kid, buried in books and video games, nursing a crush on every girl who smiled my way. But Emily was different. We bonded over shared detentions, me for daydreaming in class, her for talking back to teachers. "You're like a brother to me already," she'd said after our first real conversation, punching my arm playfully. Brother. The word lodged in my chest like a splinter, but I ignored it, grateful for her friendship in a sea of teenage isolation. Over the years, that splinter burrowed deeper. College came and we roomed near each other, her in the dorms, me in a crappy apartment. I'd listened to her rant about shitty boyfriends, holding her as she sobbed over cheating exes. "Why can't all guys be like you, Jake? You're the best. The best but never enough." I'd fantasize about confessing, imagining her eyes lighting up with realization. But doubt always crept in, fear of losing her, of shattering the fragile bond we had. So I stayed silent, resentment simmering beneath the surface, masked by brotherly affection. Heartbreak became a constant companion, each "I love you, bro" a twist of the knife. Then, last year I hit my breaking point. Emily started dating Mark, a slick finance guy who treated her like an accessory. I watched her dim, her spark fading under his control. When she finally dumped him, I was there, as always, with ice cream and bad movies. But that night, as she fell asleep on my couch, her head on my shoulder, I realized I couldn't do it anymore. The obsession was consuming me. Nights spent replaying her words, wondering if there was a hidden meaning. I needed to move on. Lisa entered my life like a breath of fresh air. We met at a mutual friend's party, her dark curls and sharp wit drawing me in. She was a graphic designer, full of passion and independence. Nothing like the pedestal I'd put Emily on. Our first date was coffee that turned into dinner, then a walk under city lights where she kissed me without hesitation. For the first time in years I felt seen, not as a brother but as a man. Heartbreak ebbed, replaced by tentative hope. But Emily lingered in the background, her texts constant. "How's the new girl? Tell me everything." I introduced them over brunch, the cafe buzzing with weekend chatter, the aroma of fresh pancakes and coffee filling the air. Emily was her charming self, hugging Lisa warmly. "Jake's told me so much about you. He's like family to me." Lisa smiled, glancing at me with affection. "He's pretty great, isn't he?" The conversation flowed, work, hobbies, shared laughs. I watched them bond, a twinge of unease in my gut, but I dismissed it. Emily was happy for me, she had to be. Subtle hints emerged in the weeks that followed. Lisa's phone buzzing more often, her excuses for late nights at work. Emily canceling plans with me, her voice distant over the phone. "Just busy, bro. You know how it is, bro." The word grated now, laced with irony. Denial wrapped around me like a shield. I told myself it was paranoia, born from years of unrequited love. But doubt festered, fantasies of confrontation playing in my mind. What if? The question haunted my sleepless nights, the city's neon glow filtering through my blinds, casting eerie patterns on the ceiling. Then came the discovery. I'd forgotten my wallet at home, rushing back during lunch. The door wasn't locked. Careless, I thought. But as I stepped in, the sounds hit me first. Soft murmurs, a gasp. Peeking into the living room, the sight seared into my brain. Emily's hand on Lisa's thigh. Their bodies close on the couch where I'd confessed my feelings to Lisa just months ago. Humiliation crashed over me, hot and suffocating. Not just cheated on, but by her, the one who'd kept me in limbo for years. Was this her way of keeping me close, or pure selfishness? I didn't confront them then. Instead, I slipped out quietly, heart pounding, mind racing. In the elevator, anger solidified into resolve. They thought they could play me. Fine. Play back. But not with screams or fists. With precision, letting them unravel themselves. Guilt flickered. Emily wasn't evil. She'd been my rock through my parents' divorce, my confidant. But betrayal eclipsed that, resentment fueling my plans. I'd start small, gather proof, sow seeds of doubt. The pursuit had begun, slow and deliberate, like a predator stalking in the shadows. Days blurred into a haze of feigned normalcy. I smiled at Lisa's kisses, laughed at Emily's texts. Inside, obsession grew, replaying the scene, imagining their secrets. Moral conflict gnawed. Was I becoming the monster? But heartbreak justified it. They'd humiliated me, turned my vulnerability into a joke. I started with Lisa's phone, glancing at messages while she showered. "Can't wait to see you again," from Emily. Proof. I photographed them, my hands steady despite the tremor in my chest. Next, I invited them both to dinner, the restaurant's ambient lighting hiding my cold gaze. "To new beginnings," I toasted, clinking glasses. Emily's smile faltered slightly, her eyes darting to Lisa. Tension hummed in the air, unspoken. As dessert arrived, I excused myself, leaving them alone. From the bathroom, I watched through the crack, their hands brushing, a whispered word. Suspense built in my chest, a thrill mixing with pain. That night alone I plotted. Revenge wouldn't be destruction, it would be exposure, forcing them to face the consequences. But doubt crept in. What if Emily had feelings for me all along, suppressed? No, that was denial talking. She'd chosen this. Cold resolve settled like ice in my veins. The game was on. The city rain slicked the streets outside my window, mirroring the storm inside me as I stared at the photos on my laptop. Emily and Lisa, captured in stolen moments. It had been 2 weeks since the discovery, and I'd played the part perfectly. The oblivious boyfriend, the loyal friend. But each smile cost me, chipping away at my sanity. Guilt warred with resentment, Emily had her reasons, perhaps confusion about her feelings, a fear of losing our bond. Lisa, too, might have been swept up in something unexpected. But justification. Well, they'd betrayed me, turning years of loyalty into dust. Obsession gripped me now, fantasies of justice evolving into a plan. Introduce chaos into their secret world, watch it crumble. I began with subtlety, the slow burn essential to avoid suspicion. A casual comment to Lisa over breakfast. The kitchen filled with the sizzle of eggs and the bitter scent of coffee. Emily seemed off at dinner. Everything okay with her? Lisa paused, fork midway to her mouth, her brown eyes flickering. Yeah, why? I shrugged, feigning concern. Just. She's like family. If something's up, I'd want to know. The words tasted like ash, echoing her old refrain. She relaxed, but I saw the seed planted. Doubt about Emily's discretion. Next, Emily. We met for lunch at our old spot. A dingy diner with vinyl booths cracked from years of use, the air thick with grease and nostalgia. Bro, you've been distant, she said, sipping her milkshake, her tone light but eyes probing. I leaned back, forcing a grin. Work's killing me. Plus Lisa's been talking about you a lot. Says you're amazing. Her cheeks pinked, a tell I'd missed before. Really? That's sweet. Tension coiled in my gut, suppressed rage bubbling. Yeah. Almost like she's got a crush. I laughed it off but watched her squirm, the conversation shifting uneasily. Inner conflict raged as I left. Was this revenge or self-destruction? Heartbreak fueled me but fear whispered. What if they chose each other openly, leaving me alone? Moral grayness haunted. They weren't villains. Emily had supported me through depression, Lisa had brought joy. But humiliation demanded reckoning. I pushed on, planning the pivot. I fabricated an opportunity. A weekend getaway, just the three of us to strengthen bonds. The cabin was remote, nestled in pine forests where the air was crisp and heavy with earth. Driving up, rain pattering on the windshield, Lisa chattered excitedly. Emily quiet in the back. Atmosphere thickened, subtle hints emerging. Stolen glances in the rearview, a brush of hands. I gripped the wheel, knuckles white, cold resolve steadying me. Arrival brought cinematic isolation. The cabin's wooden walls creaking in the wind, fire crackling in the hearth casting flickering shadows. We played board games, laughter forced. Remember that time in college, Em? When you dragged me to that party? Said voice casual. She nodded, but her smile didn't reach her eyes. As night fell, I excused myself early, feigning a headache. Lying in bed, ears strained, I heard them. Whispers downstairs, a soft laugh. Pain twisted, but I waited. Morning. I discovered a note I'd planted, supposedly from Lisa to Emily, left accidentally in the kitchen. Can't stop thinking about last night. Lisa's eyes widened as I held it up, confusion turning to horror. Jake, that's not, I didn't. Emily froze, guilt etched on her face. Confrontation erupted, voices rising over the birdsong outside. You think I didn't know? I snarled, anger unleashing. Years, Emily. Years of like a brother. And now this. Tears streamed down her face. Jake, I didn't mean to hurt you. Just happened. I was confused, I always loved you but not like that. Then Lisa interjected, voice breaking. I'm sorry. It wasn't planned. But their words fueled my rage, resentment exploding. Confused. You used me. Suspense peaked as I revealed the photos, projecting them on my phone. They gasped, the room electric with tension. But then the twist, I hadn't come for screams. I'm not ending this, I said calmly, pocketing the phone. You two deserve each other. But first, feel what I felt. I locked the doors, the cabin's isolation my ally. Not violence, no, that was too crude. Instead, hours of forced conversation, making them confess every detail, every lie. Guilt consumed them, their bond fracturing under the weight. Emily broke first, sobbing. I kept you close because I couldn't lose you. But I was scared. Scared of what I felt for women, too. Layered motives unveiled, her brother label a shield, protecting her from her own truths. Lisa admitted manipulation, drawn to Emily's familiarity. Moral complexity hit me. My revenge felt justified yet hollow. Obsession waned, replaced by pity. As dusk fell, I unlocked the doors. Go. But know this. You've lost me forever. They left, the car crunching gravel, leaving me in silence. Poetic justice. Their affair exposed to themselves, trust shattered. But the unexpected consequence. Relief washed over me, heartbreak lifting. In pursuing revenge, I'd freed myself. Walking into the forest, rain cleansing, I realized the twist. The real betrayal was my own denial. Now, unburdened, I could finally move on.